Vinnie Pasquantino week has begun. Let's discuss on fantasy baseball today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Tuesday, July 12th. I am Frank Sanford, joined by Scott White, and let's talk about the Italian breakfast. It was a huge day across the doubleheader for Vinnie Pasquantino, Scott, and he's still just 66% rostered. I think he is a must-add where available.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised he is so available given the excitement when he got called up, and I'm not sure who's been talking him down since then. I know it got off to kind of a slow start, but the underlying numbers looked incredible for Vinnie Pasquantino, hitting the ball incredibly hard, high end exit velocities. The plate discipline has been as good as advertised, and he finally has this day that he can hang his hat on, 4 for 7 between the two games with a home run, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. And I would say, I was calling this week with the 8 games and the favorable matchups, I was calling it Vinnie Pasquantino's coming out party. And a day into that, it already seems like it couldn't possibly go wrong.
All right, I'll give you 3 names here, Scott. Would you be willing to drop any or all of these for Vinnie P? Max Muncy, Joey Votto, Jared Walsh.
Any and all of them. I'd rather have Vinnie Pasquantino. And, people have been asking me Alex Kirilloff versus Vinnie Pasquantino. Kirilloff's a guy I've been very high on too. And even in that case, I would take Pasquantino over him.
Yep, hard to argue with that. I think there's a lot of upside for Vinnie P. Lots of upside for Nolan Jones, who has been scorching so far. I know we just spoke about him on yesterday's podcast, but he had another massive game here on Monday. 2 more hits, including a double that was 110 miles per hour off the bat. He added 4 more RBI. Still widely available, Scott, 31% rostered. Whether you need third base or outfield, Nolan Jones might be able to fill that void.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think those are the 2 positions people need most, because both third base and outfield, they have some real standout studs at the top, but a very steep drop-off soon afterward. And the fact Nolan Jones, he retains third base eligibility from last year, picking up outfield very soon here, that alone makes him worth looking into. And there is talent here. I mean, he is a player who projected to hit for more power than he did in the minors. The launch angle wasn't necessarily optimized for it down there. Always walked a lot in the minors as well, struck out a lot. And so I do wonder if, the strikeouts start to pile up for Nolan Jones, if he is going to make the sort of high quality contact needed to overcome that. Also wonder if he's going to end up sitting against left-handers. The Guardians haven't faced one since he got called up, won't face one for a while. Doesn't look like. But by the time they finally do, Nolan Jones may have made himself instrumental to their lineup, and they may just keep running them out there.
And low-key, it's been a good lineup this year, too, for the Cleveland Guardians. We know Jose Ramirez is having that fantastic season, but, they've gotten contributions all up and down that lineup. So hopefully Nolan Jones could keep it going as well. Let's talk about a pitcher, Lance Lynn. What do we do? He had a brutal start here, honestly, against the Guardians, where Nolan Jones kind of, did some of that damage against him. He gives up 8 runs over 4 innings pitched, and the ERA overall climbs to 6.97 early on. What do we do, Scott?
Well, you hold, I think. Obviously not the time to sell him, and I think he's too high in to drop. That double from Nolan Jones was the only extra base hit off Lance Lynn in this one. Of the 9 hits, 8 of them were singles. Average exit velocity against him in this one was only 87 miles per hour, and he hasn't been getting hit that hard in general. His xERA, which is largely a measure of how hard a pitcher's getting hit, coming into this game, it was below 4, and I doubt it rose that much with the 87 mile per hour average exit velocity. So yeah, Lance Lynn's velocity's been down a little since that long layoff from a torn meniscus. It's kind of reminiscent of Zach Wheeler at the start of this season. Remember, he had a very hurried ramp up to the start of the year after sitting out all of spring training with an injury, and it may just take time for Lance Lynn to come around. If his next start in this 2-start week is bad, then I think it's another situation like we faced with Charlie Morton earlier this season, where you just sit him until he he shows clear signs of bouncing back.
All right, fair enough. Let's wrap up with this, Scott. A huge day for the Kellers, Brad Keller and Mitch Keller. Do you have any interest in either one?
No, I don't. Not as beyond low-end streamers. I don't think either has the upside, and certainly neither has the supporting cast to be more than that.
All right. Sorry, Kellers. I tried. Scotty's not buying. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.